Lord, thank you today. Thank you, Lord God, for watching over us. Thanks for this meeting. Lord, pray that you do that in a way, Lord God, be pleased to thee. Lord, we just thank you for everyone that's represented here. Thank you, Lord, for our children. Thank you most of all for us. Lord, watch over us more all the night for our houses. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Welcome everyone to Polk County Board of Education regular session meeting. Denton Elementary. Roll call, please.
Robert Cole.
Here.
James Davis.
Here.
David Good.
Here.
David Green.
Here.
Harmon Harding.
Here.
Stan Howard.
Here.
Jason Lamb.
Here.
Sean Pritchett.
Here.
Mark Williams.
The principal statement.
Welcome. I'm the principal, Valerie Davis here at Denton Elementary. I just want to update you all on a few of the safety things that we've had installed here in the last month or so. We've got a new Raptor system, and it's where I know several parents have been coming through and we check your driver's license. It's just for sex offenders. We also use the feature, Sean went through and put in information like if someone can't pick up a certain child, that'll pop up if you can't take so-and-so, so that way nobody goes with the wrong person. So we really like that feature. It takes an extra couple minutes when you come through the door, but it's worth it. And also, we've just had 20 security cameras installed throughout the school on all the exterior doors and throughout. You can tell back there in the corner, the black bubble is one. I think there's and this one right over here, so we actually have 3 here in the cafeteria. So we've got 20 cameras, and I can easily access them on my phone as well as Officer McCoy. So those are some things that we've added. We also have 2 buzzers on the front door when you come in to let you in, and also back here in the back that comes from pre-K. So there's a buzzer back there as well with a camera. And then also our school Beta Club did a community fundraiser, and we did Pennies for Patients. And so our students over the last 3 weeks brought in $3,500 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So good that our students took that in, and we were glad to be able to donate that money. So
Approval of consent agenda. Move approved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
On the February purchase, they're not, where they scheduled to have
No, it's not. They're gonna come up.
following that.
Matter of fact, they're pretty expensive, and I'll have to hire and say, hey, we'd really like your help on this. And this. Because on the school's responsibility, school system.
Any more discussion?
Anything where you'll see us purchasing more and more of those because some of them are going out of date. And, I mean, it's not like 30 years ago, we feel compelled to have those around now.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Robert Cole.
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
David Good.
Yes.
David Green. Harmon Harding.
Yes.
Stan Howard.
Yes.
Jason Lamb.
Yes.
Sean Pritchett.
Yes.
Mark Williams.
And the agenda goes number 2. Discussion action regarding approval of overnight trips for CBHS and PCHS to Lee University Gear Up Youth Summit 2020.
Move to approve. Second.
First and a second. Any discussion?
Harmon Harden,
Yes.
Stan Howard,
Yes.
Jason Lamb,
Yes.
Sean Pritchett,
Yes.
Mark Williams.
Move over to the addendum. Number one on the addendum, discussion action regarding approval of additional invoices.
Move approved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Cole,
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
David Duke,
Yes.
David Green,
Yes.
Harmon Harden,
Yes.
Stan Howard,
Yes.
Jason Lamb,
Yes.
Sean Pritchett,
Yes.
Mark Williams.
Number two, discussion action regarding approval of overnight trip for children middle school archery to state tournament in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Move approved.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Cole,
Yes.
James Davis,
Yes.
David Duke,
Yes.
David Green,
Yes.
Harmon Harden,
Yes.
Stan Howard,
Yes.
Jason Lamb,
Yes.
Sean Pritchett,
Yes.
Mark Williams.
Number three, discussion action regarding approval of overnight trip for PCHS wrestling team to Murfreesboro, for state meet.
Second.
That's second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Robert Cole,
Yes.
James Davis,
Yes.
David Duke,
Yes.
David Green,
Yes.
Harmon Harden,
Yes.
Stan Howard,
Yes.
Jason Lamb,
Yes.
Sean Pritchett,
Yes.
Mark Williams.
Back to the agenda. Information, Steve Moore, ROTC program.
Director Jones, Commissioner Harden, faculty, guests, appreciate your time tonight. A few of the things that AMVET's Department of Tennessee and mostly post 9/11 wanted to go over. At this time, our post for post 90, Meigs County, Tennessee and Decatur, we spoke with their officers and their membership. We're going to pay for a traveling trophy to go back and forth between Meigs County High School and Polk County High School for football. What we're asking is that the date of that game we play in Polk County, that you allow us, post 9/11, to come in that one game every 2 years and fundraise to go into our scholarship program we're building as well. When we're at Meigs County, post 9/11 members will be going over there helping them do the same thing for their program. Right now, our scholarship program, we're fine-tuning all the paperwork on it. We've got 2 scholarships, $250 apiece. Our goal is to reach it for 2 scholarships at $500 apiece. These will be open to Polk County High School and Copper Basin High School as well. We're working on a system to do it to where no one ever knows the name or the high school of where the student is when we go through and finalize the judging on this process. That being the case, you may have 2 from Basin, you may have 2 from Polk County, you may do a split. And it's also going to include trade schools. That's a big industry right now that students need to be looking at. It'll be welcome those as well. You have in front of you pocket constitutions. These are free to the 8th graders in Polk County schools that AMVETS pays for. If you look on the back page, it goes into federal law 108-447, the Constitution of the United States to be taught and celebrated in school. We're asking that everyone here remember that, and if you need pocket constitutions, please call us. They're free for the asking. And we're also, with permission of the board and the schools as well, there's a civics club at Polk County High School. We want to get a civics club at Copper Basin High School and have a friendly competition like the bowl teams did. Working more with these students and doing things together. And the main reason, again, being here tonight, there's been a lot of people that came up to us and talked about having an ROTC program in the Polk County school system. I've talked a lot for the past 2 years to First Sergeant Chattanooga over this. The waiting list is 2 to 3 years long, but that's a good thing. This is not an overnight deal. It'll take a minimum of 24 months to get things in order to do it the right way. If everyone could, on the school board especially, write down this website, please. www.usarmyjrotc.com. That's the best website to go to that can tell you everything about how the program starts, what the schools are responsible for, the office space they have to have, the drill pads. Any of your questions will probably be answered at that moment. If the board would let me, I'd like to come back in 2 months to answer any questions about it at that time. The last thing I've got to say is thank you for letting us be here, and please remember, if there's anything we can do to help these schools out for patriotism or Americanism, Commander Woody's a phone call away, I'm a phone call away. We're here to help the kids any way we can help the school board. Thank you.
Other information item, question and answer session regarding students from CMS. Dr. Jones?
So, after an incident at Shohei Middle School, there were some parents that talked to me about coming to the board meeting and asking questions or making statements. And I thought that was an okay thing to do. What I'd like is for, if you do have something that you want to say, we'll do it in a very organized fashion. You can just raise your hand. Nobody will talk over anybody else, and we'll just go from there. I think, is the mother here? Okay. Why don't you go first?
Yes, on January 17th, my son,
Please,
Dallas.
real loud.
My son Dallas on January 17th had wrote a note, a suicide note. A friend took it to, I think, Miss Bridget, or maybe someone in the office. My son was drugged out of the cafeteria. Our SRO officer and an assistant principal. They called me on the phone and said, your son, we had found a suicide note. I said, I'm on my way. 10 minutes later, change of plans, Miss Ferris. Your son is going to jail. To a jail. My son should have never went to a jail. My son was crying out for help. Any kid that's crying out for help, you don't take them to a jail. I don't know if you've got children, but my son is my life. My life. And I'm going to stand up for what's right. My son should never have been taken to jail, patted down like a criminal. A criminal when he was only crying out for help. And then I called Mr. Hanman I'm sorry, on the 29th, I had heard Dallas had text to other students wanting to commit suicide 3 weeks before the note. Before! I was not notified. I could have got my son out 3 weeks ago. What's up? Yeah, you've got the system down here to help protect the children from the outside. What protects my son from the inside? You tell me that. Come on, tell me. I want to know.
Okay.
Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
You do.
I have an adopted son, yes. All right. So, I can see that you're very emotional, you're very upset, and that's understandable. I think the main thing that we want to look at here is we have a protocol that goes on in the school, and we were following that protocol. And let me talk for just a minute, and then I'll let you talk in just a few minutes, okay? Thank you. And the police protocol and the school protocol is different when it comes to a student who has talked about committing suicide. And I feel like the school did what they were to do according to the protocol. And I also feel like the police department and SRO did what they felt like they should do according to their protocol. Now, since that time, obviously the protocols are different. Since that time, I've talked to the sheriff, and we are working out details so that those two protocols blend more efficiently the next time. The child, we feel like, was never in danger of harming himself or others during this process, and it continued to be that way while being taken into protective custody. Could we have done things better? We always look at a situation and analyze it and see if there are things that we could do better in the future. Yes.
A similar situation happened in East Polk in 2015, costing the lives of 2 young people. The protocol was supposed to be changed then. Why is it 5 years later and it still hasn't?
Those are 2 very different situations.
Same protocol.
Our protocol is the same. These are 2 entirely different situations. I don't know if you're trying to ride the coattail of someone else's, but they're totally different situations.
Okay, instead of having him taken to a jail, to where he talks to a probation officer.
Actually, it was a youth officer, but.
Oh, okay, what does she know about mental health? Is she qualified to counsel my son? Is she qualified? Tell him I want to see her degree. I want to see it.
Well,
Come on with it. I want to see her degree. I want to see it.
I'll stand by the answer I gave you. We followed our protocol, and the police followed their protocol.
Okay, how about my son being named in front of a whole 6th grade by his name? Oh, Dallas will be back to school on Tuesday. What if my son came back to school on Tuesday? When 3 weeks before the note, I could have gotten him help. Got an answer for that?
Well, there are some discrepancies about how his name was brought up in my home, but from the way it was told to me, the kids brought up his name when they had that session.
They didn't have an assembly.
Pardon me?
Did they have an assembly with all 6th graders telling them Dallas is going to be fine. Dallas will be back to school on Tuesday.
It didn't happen.
We prayed before we done this. We prayed. God knows. So, come on with it.
So you're saying...
Well, I mean, you can sit there and laugh all you want. You
I'm
can.
laughing at
Yeah, I know.
brushes, but
Yeah, you're very funny.
So what you're saying is
I'm gonna let you talk in just a minute. In just a minute.
I'm just making this.
In just a minute.
You do not have to jump on me like that. I do not, because they're
Okay,
making.
I'm gonna let you talk in just a minute, I promise. Go ahead.
So I would like to know what story you heard, because the story that I got told by my son, he was sitting down there in that gym, that Dallas is gonna be fine. Don't say anything to anybody because we don't want to make Dallas feel uncomfortable. So what they're saying is that never happened.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's the way I took it, so I apologize. What happened with the assembly? And then my next question is my son got handed the note. He was never offered any type of assistance from any of the counselors, any of the teachers, any of the administration on how to deal with this. Nor were we notified at any point. Still to this day, there is 0 notification that there was something like this that happened. That is very upsetting as a parent because people tell us that we're supposed to be involved with our children and that we're bad parents if we don't. But we send them to you guys Monday through Friday from 7:50 till 3 o'clock. How are we supposed to know what happens during those hours if the teachers, the principals, the superintendent doesn't tell us what's going on? I love my children. That is why I'm here, because I'm very ashamed of the way this was handled. This is not something that's okay. We are a great community with great people, and we're getting our children taught that we're supposed to sweep everything under the rug. You can't be that way.
No, we didn't sweep anything under the rug.
But that, how did you not?
How
There,
did-
there was never any notification that anything ever happened.
I think that because the child was a minor.
Yes,
It's
I
taken the jail
understand,
and
but
had it down.
Do you want me to answer it, or do you not want
Go
me?
ahead, I'm
Without
sorry.
my
Okay.
consent.
You ask me questions and I'll try to answer, so.
Okay.
And so the child is a minor and they've talked about committing suicide. So our educators have been instructed to handle that kind of thing very carefully. Already by the parent herself, she's been extremely upset that that child's name was brought up during that assembly. So it was a touchy situation on how we were going to display that information. Some of the students were very emotional, and so that is why the group meeting was held, because we felt like those kids needed to have a counselor talk to them, and that's what we did. We got our school counselor, who's a fantastic certified counselor, and he talked to the students, and some people did not feel comfortable spreading that information to all the parents and their family.
And that's fair enough. I completely agree with that. However, I feel like if you would have sent a note home saying that there was an incident that happened today at Chilhowie Middle School, if your son or daughter does not know the incident, then at that point you can give us a call, and you don't even have to say the kid's name. You can just say that there was a suicide note that was passed around to the parents who called. But nobody even knew to call to say that there was an incident. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's ways that you can word that around to where you're not giving out what happened in a mass letter. You're not naming the child's name, but you're allowing the parents to know what's going on in their kids' lives. Because I know other children that I reached out to other parents, and one child actually had a family member that committed suicide, and he found them. But when he got home, all he told his parents was he had a bad day, because he understood it as he wasn't allowed to talk about it because of the assembly. And I know that as a teacher and administrator, y'all don't know that kind of stuff. But if there was some type of notification that went home to where the parents could have got it and been like, okay, you know, I know that there was an incident today, what happened? And if they didn't know, then they could have reached out to them. I mean, we're a small community.
Yep.
You could have reached out to another parent and been like, hey, has your child talked to you about what happened today?
I think that's a good point. And when we had meetings and I met and investigated the situation, that was one of the things that we went away feeling like, you know, we were riding a line between trying to keep
Right.
that child's feelings under, you know, not spreading to the world, and exactly what you're saying. If I had it to do over again, and hindsight is always wonderful, isn't it? But if I had it to do over again, then I would have sent a statement out
But then
similar to what you're saying.
that's when I have to go back and say, but at this point in the assembly that was held, his name was already given out by the teachers. So, I mean, at that point, the privacy was kind of thrown out the window. I mean, you see where I'm going with that? Like,
I see what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I see what you're saying, because
Right here sits my son, and he was in that meeting.
Same.
Do you want to ask him if they said Dallas is going to be fine, Dallas isn't going to commit suicide, and Dallas will be back to school? And would you like to know who said that? That would be Principal Dunn.
maybe if we could break your statements up and I could answer some at a time, because
Okay.
I don't want you to, you know, talk for an hour here.
Right.
So the way that it was told to me is that the students were very upset. They got them together. Mr. Hyman came in and said, folks, why are you so upset? And the students said, because.
Okay. Then me and you can have this, because it's going to be a very long conversation, because that's not at all what I've heard from numerous sixth grade students.
Okay.
Several.
Well,
Yeah, several of them are here. And that's fine. Like, I'm completely okay with me having a one-on-one with you, because what you were told and what I've been told by the children are completely
no,
different.
I would never have told anybody that they can't meet with me in my office. Do you know how many people called me about this? 2.
Yeah.
My office is open, folks. You can come and talk to me about any of the concerns that you're talking about. One person did. All right, so you have something that you're wanting to
Yeah,
say.
we had a great conversation when you and I met face to
Yes.
face. And then whenever it was approached about, having a meeting before this, so that way it can, focus on the questions and concerns of the parents and our kids, and how we were supposed to be able to talk to our children when we're not, suicide does not come up in our normal conversations every day with our kids. We were not prepared. We only found out about it when the news report came on. And then by that point, just like I explained to you, it was just, we weren't prepared. And so also, my question is, you have a policy and procedure in place, correct?
Yes.
Who are your designees that you appoint to this type of situation, just like you would with any other protocol? Who are your designees to handle this situation?
When we hear suicide and it's followed to a certain extent, then we get other professional people involved that are more qualified to handle these type of situations. Certainly, Mr. Hyman, I think everybody that knows Mr. Hyman agrees that he's a great guy, certified counselor, typical guy, and he does a really good job. We get him involved immediately. We also get a crisis team, and our crisis team will. Yeah, so we have certified professionals that come from a certain.
From where?
Where is that from? Who's our?
Mobile crisis, there's a mobile crisis number that we call. Anytime this happens, we call mobile crisis.
Were they contacted at this point?
Absolutely, immediately. And they were called, that as soon as the parents were called, the very next phone call was to them.
They were coming to the school until it changed with the SROs.
Yeah, and so I guess that's where the confusion lies, is that, the Dolphin policy, under student suicide prevention code 6.415, that you are designate, you have the designate, and to keep the child, whoever is in question, to keep them safe, to wait for their parents to get there, call crisis management team to come in, and huddle around that child for, just privacy and to keep them comfortable. And then if a child ever speaks out, or any person ever speaks out, we could be sitting at our houses, and if we voice that we wanted to take our own lives, what is sent for us? A police car, but also an ambulance.
Yeah.
And police are only there if you're, violent or not,
At home?
anywhere, at home, any suicide is.
Yeah, I think you're wrong on that, but go ahead.
Because, you first go for medical attention. You don't go, unless it's like.
I want to get into
Okay, that's
I want to
fine.
get into the protocol of the police because that's not my jurisdiction. I know that we follow school protocol, and then the SRO officer who works in our building for the sheriff's department has a different protocol. And at that point, he took over and he followed through with the police officer protocol.
So at no point in there, like you and I have discussed, and you said, you told me that you were going to
Yes.
implement another plan with the sheriff.
Yes.
At no point did anybody stop to think, okay, this is, if you take a child out, you have now set an example for a lot of children within the 6th grade school or within that entire school, that if they have something they need to tell somebody, that they are hurting, that they need to talk to somebody, they're now terrified to talk to somebody and approach it because they now feel that they are going to be, and even though, it wasn't, like put in handcuffs or anything like that, when this thing's out in the front seat, and which is great. So now they think that they're gonna be in trouble for saying something.
Right.
And then that they're going to be open to their entire class body, their friends, their peers. And we all know kids are not very nice. We hope that they would be, but Dallas has literally been alone since this happened. You know, he's got his great friends and stuff like that, but just imagine what he felt like going back to school. And so this could have been handled a lot more private, and then none of this would have happened. None of us would be asking so many questions, but I'm kind of glad it did, so that way we can identify it for all others. And for a set policy in your hookup in your school with designate names like Kendra Bullard, why wasn't she contacted to, you know, for mental health services and things that the school provides? So there's many questions and many, discrepancies on that.
Kendra Ballard is an option for us, but we had already contacted people that were certified with the process system. I don't have any qualms about that.
If Kendra is involved in a situation like this, she would do, her first thing she would do would be call local process.
Absolutely.
That's the first thing she does. She
Absolutely.
does it, as a matter of fact, Kendra is, when something like this comes up, after she makes sure that the child is safe, she turns it over to mobile process because they are specialists in this, and that's who we want working with the child.
And so at that point, that's fantastic. At that point, when they were contacted, at which point did it become confusing to our school system that the child goes to the Justice Center to be questioned by a juvenile probation
I'm pretty sure I've answered that 3 or 4 times, but I'll try.
Well, yeah, you need to
Yeah.
kind of clarify that.
I'll try. I thought I was clear, but I'll try. So having our own protocol, remember that the SRO officer does not work for me. He works in my building for the sheriff's department. They have their own protocol for suicide prevention.
School shit. I mean, I'm not saying anybody trumps the, you know, the
No.
sheriff, and they do what they were supposed to do.
Right.
Per, I guess, the communication that you have had with them. And that's the thing, like, communication between you and them were not implemented very well. And so
Well, I mean, I
crisis teams
appreciate
should
your
come
opinion on
to-
that, but my jurisdiction, I covered very well and covered policy and protocol. And if you're not happy with the way that the sheriff's department implemented their protocol, then
I have no problem with them. I don't think anybody has a problem with them because we feel as though that
the biggest thing
it's not there.
that I feel is what this lady said. I can chime with that because looking back and looking at the landscape of the way that things were handled, I can see where she and you all would have needed a statement saying, hey, this happened today, in vague terms. We want to help. We talked to the kid today. They were very upset. We had a counselor there trying to help. These things happen. I think we should have done that. I think we'll do that in the future.
The next thing though that I have along those lines is, there's 2-part question. One, do the teachers receive any type of suicide training? Because I've spoken with teachers in Bradley County, and they have to take a 2-hour training seminar every year, and I didn't know if that was something that Polk County did.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
But many of those programs, I understand, especially at the middle school level, are going to be referral kind of things.
Right.
Hey, this is going on, let's get Wally involved. Wally, I'm sorry, Mr. Hyman. I've known him for 30 years, so I call him Wally. But I'll say, hey, Mr. Hyman, do the thing, he'll get crisis intervention involved. So it's that kind of thing. That is the biggest rub for me, is that we should have communicated better with the community. I can handle that. We'll do it moving forward. We learned a great deal from this. As far as until we solidify that information with the sheriff about what we're going to do and what they're going to do, and they overlap and we help those melt together, I can't say that wouldn't happen again. But we're working on a more cohesive action right there, so that I take merit in what you said about, we don't want a 6th grader to feel like if he comes and talks about committing suicide, he's going to, that kind. So, I mean, we're working with it. I will not stand up here and say, I run a perfect school system. I will stand up here and say, we try our best. And when things go wrong, we look at it and see how we can help do things better, and then we move forward doing things better. And I feel that way about these situations. The child, I feel good that the child was kept safe all the way through, regardless of could things have done better. He was kept safe, very safe. Could we have done things better? Sure. Almost any situation that I go out in life, especially in the education system, we look at a situation, we are constantly monitoring and adjusting. Could we have handled the situation? Well, yeah, here's some ideas. I like that. Let's do that in the future. And that's what we're doing with this situation. But it's not like it's us and them. You know, I've been here since I was 3 years old. I graduated K through 12 schools here. I've been working in the system 34 years. You know, it's not a contest on who loves Polk County more. I'll be right there with you. But we had a situation, we could have handled some things better. We're doing those things, we're talking in groups how we can do it better, and we will do better moving forward.
You mentioned that you kept him safe. So you mean physically, right? I mean, you terrorized the kid.
Yeah, physically.
He wasn't even able to eat his own lunch. You had an assembly where at least one
I
person...
think I've addressed that, where we're going to be working with the Sheriff's Department to have a better cohesive plan. No need to kick me in the head about it. I think that
You know what my
we're
son
really
said?
going to try to.
When I got to the jail, you know what Dallas said? He said, Mom, they made me feel like I was a criminal. He said, they treated me like a criminal. All I wanted was help.
Yeah.
It's coming from a 12.
Well, I'm very sorry that you felt that way.
You know what? And no
that's-
one from this school has contacted me since January 17th, except for Mr. Hyman. Only one that said anything.
Well, I'm glad Mr. Hyman did that.
Hey,
Uh,
it doesn't matter. That's what it is.
Like I said, and also,
Yeah.
I'll say it again. We don't always make the best in a situation, but we try to learn from a situation and say, hey, how can we do it better? And we make it better as we go. I don't know of a better explanation than that. I will never tell you that I'm going to handle every situation exactly right. It won't happen. We're human beings. We are acting on the spur of the moment, and then we look back at it and go, you know what? We probably could have done that better.
Moving forward, should something come up to this caliber again, I mean, we all get phone tree messages almost every other day. I mean, it would have taken 30 seconds to notify us, hey, there was an incident at Chilhowie Middle School. Your child may come home visibly upset. If you have questions, please reach out to the central office. Here's the number, yada, yada, yada. Follow up on
Yeah, I'm
Monday.
pretty sure I've addressed that. We're gonna handle that moving forward.
Okay, so I'm just gonna reround myself really quick, okay? And I know you'll probably say, I already answered that. I get it. But just to understand it better is that there was a procedure, policies, and protocols set in place already.
For the school.
Yeah, for the school.
Yes.
And so it did not, the sheriff would, I know has their part and they have to do that. But this did not involve an active shooter, a person who was a threat to anybody.
Can't pretend to know the protocols of the sheriff.
I'm saying protocols for, for yours, but you guys have posted with the state board education,
Okay.
And so within there, you have to review annually, I know that, but in the beginning of the year, a policy protocol has to be set into place where only a certain amount of people are in that circle that know exactly what steps to follow. Doesn't matter, it's a suicide, intervention, it's suicide awareness. We are these certain people that have to implement the protocol. You have certain steps and they, some is like
I'm pretty
training.
sure I did. It's just a few minutes ago.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So that was not in place. You didn't have that to where you guys stuck to it. and.
Yeah,
and
we,
told- and
no,
implement
I disagree
it.
with you completely. We did what we were supposed to do according to our policy.
Okay, so crisis management was called in, right? Okay, why?
School
did they-
counselor, certified?
No, Mr. Raleigh does
Okay.
a wonderful job. But the crisis management, after that point, crisis management was called in. Why at that point did the crisis management team, get it to the school first, to then, if that was the SROs and, protocol that he needed to take the child to the Justice Center, why did the crisis team not come and meet with the child at the school first to help him understand why he was going?
Yeah, we weren't in charge of the timing of that, of him being transported in protective custody.
So have you had a meeting with Sheriff Ralston?
I've had a couple of meetings and with the judge, and she's going to be involved in our team, our whole team meeting.
And when you guys do get something concrete, will you please make it, known to the community so that way we can, we understand, nobody's perfect, but in situations, we want it to be perfect because we don't want anything happening to our children. And we want them to know that they can come to y'all if they ever need to. And that's a huge thing for us as parents, to put our trust into you guys as well. And to not have a flawed system and make it as perfect as possible, especially with protocols such as these.
I'm going to say again, the school followed proper protocol, and the SRO officer followed his proper protocol. Our goal is to help those blend together so that it's more seamless than one system.
I'm
Yes.
not here to waste your time. My child would like to speak. Is that okay?
Okay, sure.
I got back from lunch and
You'll have to excuse me, he's a little shy.
I went after lunch. We went back to my math class. My math teacher, she never said anything about who it was, and if they never did the thing where they told everybody who it was, then I wouldn't even know what happened. And they called everybody in there and they said, it's okay.
Who's they? Who's they?
The people who were talking in
So, you know the names of the teachers, it's okay.
The principal, the assistant principal, Mr. Hyman.
The person who, counselor, I'm pretty sure.
This man right here?
Yeah, weren't you talking in the gym?
In the gym, I didn't come to your math class.
Yeah, in the gym, yeah, they were saying, it's okay, Dallas is gonna be okay, and your friend will be back on Tuesday, Dallas is gonna be okay, and they made it clear that it was Dallas.
Well, obviously, it sounded like Mr. Hyman was trying to comfort the students and reassure them that Dallas is going to be okay. I don't understand how that would be a problem, especially with so many students crying and upset and very concerned about Yes.
Question. What kind of self-awareness, suicide classes and stuff like that have the students in middle school or maybe even elementary, have they had in high school, anything to teach to deal with this situation, whether it be them on the ones that are contemplating the suicide or if it's a friend that they confide to, things like that.
Yeah.
Crisis
things,
bringing a gun to school, somebody threatening to kill themselves, somebody saying they're going to stab somebody. All those crises, is there any type of communication to the kids? Like, hey, if somebody says they're going to bring a gun to school, well, you need to tell us. Or, hey, if somebody's going to kill themselves, you need to tell us. I mean, is there something along those lines? Because they don't feel comfortable talking to the teachers because they see what happens, they go to jail. So, I mean,
we have lots of people and lots of students that do go to the teachers and talk to them I don't think it's fair to say because of what happened, no child speaks to their teachers about their concerns. That's not true.
Okay.
And so a blanket statement like that is just as false as something we've heard tonight.
But I mean, what I'm saying though is there's something to where there is a relationship built between the student and the teacher because.
Are the students trained also?
Yeah.
Basically.
That's-
Well, I know that the students and the administration are trained, and I don't know if the students are
The
trained.
teachers have initiated a check-in process for the students every week. I don't think it's on Monday and Friday, right?
You stand up and say that to everybody.
Well, I'm not the author or the creator of this. The teachers did this, which is a cool thing, I think. On Mondays and Fridays, they have a check-in procedure that asks just some very vague, general questions. Yeah, it's on their iPad, and so just, how was your weekend? That is just some real, and glad you can tell me what exactly those questions are. Do you know what exactly the questions are?
It just gives the students an opportunity to voice any concerns, and it's private. Only the teachers see what the student says, and then they refer it to the counselor.
It's not unusual for one of the teachers to send me a Skype message and say, hey, why don't you check with so-and-so student because they seem a little down in their remarks this week. And that's pretty common.
So what's the child
like? Sorry, Lisa. But from what I also understood from several of the sixth grade students is Dallas has put like the press, not exactly feeling good on one of those papers or the iPad thing, and nothing ever comes of it.
Well, that's not true. I'd seen Dallas 2 times before this, on Monday and on Wednesday, right, Dallas?
Lisa, were you contacted?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Another part of my question is, obviously we're gonna use this all as a learning thing, but
What did you just say?
this is all gonna be a learning thing. So from this point forward, what kind of awareness and training are we gonna do, for the students? I mean, I understand they got that, but I mean, maybe gathering all the students and giving them examples of certain things is a visual learning or to help them understand this is what I need to do. Because sometimes
Good question.
kids don't feel like they express how they feel different to different people. Like, some may not, they feel ashamed if they talk to their parents, but they may have no problem opening up to the counselor, or they may have no problem opening up to teachers.
Well, there's a guy named Tim Tatum who is an expert in suicide prevention, and he has already agreed to come and talk to our students as a whole. What we'll need to do is get parents' permission to let him come and speak, but we'll use that as a training tool to encourage students to tell someone or talk to someone. And hopefully, we will have the seams worked out on the other end as far as the student being taken into protective custody so that it'll help alleviate some of those feelings of cautiousness with the students. All right, I'll be available afterwards, or you're welcome to call me anytime I haven't gotten a phone call from you. You have a lot of questions, so please call me anytime.
I'll be there Friday.
Okay. And anybody else that wants to, I'll be after the meeting and hang around. You can call my office anytime and ask me the questions that you're asking now. Or you can come back next month and I'll talk about some of the things that we're implementing.
I'll be here because I would really like to know what we need to implement, especially after the last statement. They did receive the information. He had been in the office twice before. Mom was never notified. Like, there we have another huge community. I mean, do you see where I'm coming from with the whole
Absolutely.
communication? Like, we could have maybe avoided all of this if, and maybe not, because maybe that mom doesn't care, or maybe that father doesn't care. But there are some parents that do care. Because if that was my son and he was in the counselor's office, I would sure hope that somebody would give me a call and be like, hey, I just wanted to let you know my son was in my office today.
Yeah, I can't argue that.
I mean,
It's solid.
It's a confidentiality thing that they can't call you unless unless they feel that the child is in danger to themselves or a
But I mean,
danger.
if you're.
Yeah.
Communication, right?
Yeah. But they,
I always tell my staff in my central office, they'll say, well, do you think we need, I said, you can't communicate too much, only too less. And we're seeing some of that right now. So I agree with a lot of the things that you said tonight. But, you know, we'll do it better. We really will. I don't have a hidden agenda.
I have always said that my children will go to Cook County because I love Cook County School System. The elementary school in my mistakes is freaking amazing, and I love the elementary school. He's in 6th grade at Shohowie, and let me tell you, it sucks. And I know so many people that literally hate their children going to Shohowie, and I was like, oh, it can't be that bad.
I would love for you to talk to me about why that is. But that's another ball game, and we're finishing this one. So.
I would just say that there's kind of two sides to every edge of the sword. And in all cases, it may not be the best thing, and I'm not saying this is the case with love, but in all the cases, there may not be a blanket thing that you should contact the home. They may be coming to you to help them because of the home, not because of the school.
Right.
So you have to look, I think you would need to look at each case individually and not have one blanket where I know from personal experience, as a father who had children in a bad situation at one point, that a school had contacted the DHS service and they were required to go into a not so good environment. And they weren't going to protect the child, but they were going to counsel an uncounselable person.
Right.
So we don't put a child in further danger. Every situation is not going to be the same.
And
I'm not saying that this situation would have been that type of situation.
And I agree with every situation. If they come in there and say, hey, my dad's beating the crap out of me, of course you don't want to call home. Like I completely get that. At that point, that's when you do want to bring in the SRO officer, and you do want to bring in the police department because the kids getting beat at home. And you don't want to call.
And I understand that is two sides, parent and someone that helps to set policy. You know, sometimes all policies can't be completely black and white.
Right.
And the whole idea of everything is the safety of the child. And thank goodness we have a child sitting here today. And we're going to help him any way we can, and his parents.
We're going to tie this up. If you have something that can't wait, let me know now. Otherwise, I'll be here afterward, and you're welcome to come to my office. Believe me, I'm a pretty reasonable person when you actually get through the, come and talk to me. Just try it. And it'll probably work out better than you think. All right.
Back to the agenda. Number 1, discussion action regarding approval of agreement between owner and architect.
Second.
And so the agreement that our guys are here, and the agreement that we're talking about is a contract between us and Michael Brady Incorporated, Michael Brady Architecture Companies. And I gave them this last month. We've been reading over it. There are some things that they want me to check out further. And we'll just table this again and come back and talk about it some more next month. Are there any questions that Mr. Bill is the if you have any architecture questions, just off the top of your head, you can let him know, or you can call me and I'll ask, or you can call him directly if you won't mind. But research that right now until we get more embedded in it. Okay, what's next?
Next month. Have a motion. Second.
Robert Paul,
Yes.
James Davis.
Yes.
David Booth,
Yes.
David Green,
Yes.
Harmon Harden, Stan Howard,
Yes.
Jason Lamb,
Yes.
Sean Pritchett,
Yes.
Mark Williams.
Information, review board policies for February, 5.100 through 5.310. If there are any questions or suggestions for the revisions, please contact the director. Any questions? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move adjourned.
Second.
Thank you.